Day. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel today. So, some news, I got a job interview tomorrow. This is kind of far from, it's like 2 miles from my house. I'm walking, trust me, I need the exercise. So, it's for a real estate phone, phone lead, 14 an hour. So I hope, pray for me, y'all. Just pray for me that I get this job. Oh my God. Okay, so this video is I can't talk. So this video is going to be like a downer, kind of, but it's just how life is after the death of my mother. So it's been 14, 15, 16, 17, 5 years, because my mother died in 2014. It's been 5 years since my mother passed on from this earth. What helps me cope is realizing she is just energy, as we all are. We are just energy, frequency, moving around on this earth. These are our shells, but inside is our souls. And but life moving on from my mother has been really hard. I'm just being honest here. Most times I do think about suicide. I do think about killing myself. Most of the times I really am really sad. I act happy and positive, but most times I'm really sad because I miss her so much. I mean, who wouldn't miss her? My mother and I, we were like this. We were like best friends. We would go everywhere. We would make our stops, as we would call it, and then afterwards we would go and eat at like some diner, and then we would play Chinese checkers afterwards. So it was a really that was really my life for a few years, from high school to college up until her passing. She passed away from breast cancer. I've heard it's genetic, but I'm not really sure. So the odds of me having breast cancer, since it did come from her, is high. I understand that. I do want to be vegan, vegetarian. Mostly I want to be plant-based is the correct terminology for me. I'm not that I'm into labeling or anything, but I want to be like plant-based. That's what I want. I'm tired of eating meat, dead animals. I'm really tired of just, I feel like even after I get everything I want, like money-wise, career-wise, everything, I won't be happy to the fullest because my mom isn't here. And mind you, my mom was everything to me. Out there that haven't really lost someone close to you, like your mother, your father, sister, brother, you won't really, no offense, but you won't really understand like what I'm feeling right now. I have to really, like, honestly, I have to force myself to get up and take on the day and look for work and try to be better. Because I know that's what my mom would have wanted. Honestly, I really want to just cry every day and just really just waste away, you could say. But I know that won't get me anywhere. And my mom, she was a go-getter, she was a doer, she was an encourager. She was on, like, she would say she is on top of things, like, and she was truly on top of things. She was always getting promotions from her job. She was an executive assistant. She was really smart. She was fighting against the bank. She honestly could have been a lawyer and gotten a degree. She was that smart, that intelligent. But she always dealt in living in reality. Her main thing was always being an advocate for people and always standing up for people who needed it. She was a Black Panther before she turned Christian. But I honestly do believe, like, my mom, she's around. I think so. I know I'm not on like this earth alone, mostly. I mean, and I have my boyfriend, I love him to death, but I truly, honestly do miss my mother. Like, that's what no one understands. I carry so much hurt and pain and like heaviness every single day. And I carry this big boulder on my shoulder, on my back every single day. And I let no one know. My boyfriend doesn't even know. Not because it's not his fault. It's me. It's just that I'm just like really, really sad. There's things that go on that I tell nobody about. There's things that I think, things that I wish that I tell nobody. I can be in the most excruciating pain and not tell a soul. That's how my mom was. She was very private. And that's how I am, I guess, because of her. I'm very, very private. And I don't want, most of the time I don't want help from anybody. That's how she was. That's how I am. Because people can use you. I have been used so many times that you can't even count, unfortunately, and that's my fault. That's my bad. But because I grew up spoiled, you could say, and everything done for me, now I'm like really have to figure out life for myself. And I guess that's why God took her away, because he wanted me to figure out life by myself without my mother, because he knew I was comfortable with my mother. He knew for the rest of my life, if I just stayed with my mother, I wouldn't have accomplished anything because I was too comfortable with her. And the funny thing is, that's exactly what he told me. You're too comfortable. So you know what? I have to take her away. He was tired of me being comfortable, too comfortable with my mother, because I wasn't growing. I was stagnant. That's not her fault. That's not my fault. It is what it is. It was what it was. Sometimes though, I do wish that, like, sometimes I wish though that, like, I would have gotten cancer too, so that we both could have died together. But I know that's not what God would have wanted, or the universe would have wanted. I wish I could have been like one of those couples, you know, those couples, like the husband dies and like a few hours later, that's when she died, the wife died. That's how I thought that's how it was going to be with my mother and I, but no, apparently not. I loved my mother to death. Well, to life, that's the better term. I loved her so much, so much. Grief, honestly, really does change a person. It really does. And until you experience it for yourself, you do not know. But the only reason I am making this video and trying to talk to you all out there in the universe, I'm encouraging you and encouraging myself too, that God took my mother away, but he didn't take me away. Obviously, all the plans and destiny that was in store for my mother was already fulfilled. There was no more need, I guess. Her goals, why she was on this planet was fulfilled. And now it's my turn to take the mantle, I guess. We have to move on and not forget the past, but always just we have to, like, not forget it, but also not think too deeply on it. Because if we think about the past too much, we won't move on into the future for what's best for us, so that we can excel, so that we can exceed. Of course, all of the people in our lives who are gone, who wanted the best for us, want us to do the best we can for ourselves now. And they don't want us to see us depressed or sad or suicidal. They want to see us flourishing. I remember my mom, I will never forget, I'm going to tell you all two incidents. There was one incident when it was a few weeks before her death, her passing. I hate to say the word death. It was a few weeks before her passing, and around a week before her, a few days actually. Yes, a few days before her passing, and I was about to go downstairs to the kitchen to get something to eat. and I see my mom crying and almost like speaking in tongues and pleading. And from that instance, I got a feeling like, oh God, she's pleading for her life. She's pleading for her life. She's pleading for her life, that her life not get taken away, that God not take her life away. And so, and I could just sense that. All of a sudden, that thought came into my head, and I knew that was it. But, and then a few days, and then like a week later, she's gone. I think she knew, she definitely knew she was gonna die. She knew. I mean, I wish she would have left a will or something, but I guess in a way she was in denial too. Understandably, because I was in denial too. We all were in denial. But as much as my mom talked about living in reality and keeping it realistic, she couldn't face her own death, and I couldn't face her own death. A month before her passing, I will never forget, and this lasted a whole week. And mind you, at this point, she had metastatic breast cancer, so it was traveling. And she just, one day, she would not, she was still breathing and everything, but it's like she would not wake up, like she was in a trance or something. And so I was trying to feed her, give her something to drink, everything, but she would not wake up. I literally did not sleep for a whole week because I was reading her Bible verses. I was praying over her that she would wake up. I'm like, oh my God, is my mom dying like right now in front of me on the bed? And after a week of hard praying and fasting and reading Bible verses over her and praying to God and everything, she finally woke up. And I asked her, what happened? Do you remember anything? And she's like, no, she don't remember anything at all. Come full circle, the day of her passing. Wait, a day before her passing, same thing happens. Same thing happens. I'm sleeping on the floor. I gave her my bed, and her leg keeps like coming off of the bed. And I'm like, Mom, put your leg back on the bed. Why is your leg coming off the bed? And I do this like 5 times. I'm like, this is weird. Why is it like, because she never does that. And then I look, and she isn't breathing at all. She's not breathing. And so then I call 911. They come here. I told them it's an emergency. My mom was not breathing. Come here like immediately. They come in like less than 5 minutes. They resuscitate her back to life. Mind you, yes, I was very traumatized after that. She stays in the hospital like the next day. And the next night, they say early morning, the day after that, after she stayed another night in the hospital, they tell me, oh, can you please come? Because I had faith that she was going to get out of it. But because I was bringing her clothes from home, and I was just going to walk from the hospital because she needed new clothes to come home. And so they say, come immediately. And I had just had that feeling like, oh God, she's gone. This can't be happening. Like, shoot, she's gone? Like, what? And so I already had mentally prepared myself. I go to the hospital, and they're like, we tried to resuscitate her. We tried to do everything, but she could not wake up. And yeah. And after I called everyone she knew, she was peeing and everything. After I called everyone that she knew, all the church people and everything, then we started making funeral arrangements. Everyone here giving me food, helping me, and yeah. My life after that never be the same.